Ladies and gentlemen, round 16 on the Football Town show tonight, and Andre Curry gets back into management for Pascoe Vale, going up against the unrated EFA Eagles. And then table toppers Melbourne Uni and Letizia Samet will go up against title rivals second place Richmond FC. And next up will be fifth taking on sixth as the Vipers go up against Ashburton. And then in the final game for the women's, it's Fitzroy taking on bottom place Heidelberg. Crossing over for all the men's action, Metropolitan and Dino Redzepovic will look to get all 3 points and keep in the title race against Mickleham. And then Adam Cooper will look to get amongst the goals, and he takes on his former mentor and former teammate Fernando De Moraes from Fitzroy. Pascoe Vale's new keeper Robbie Majorana makes a trek down from New South Wales to go up against Cheyenne Rashidi and Hume. And then in the final game of the night, George Pascalidis and Albert Park will look to get an upset over Ashburton. But before all the men's, let's join Jimmy Soufis for all the women's action.
To open up this week's show, we have a look at last week's women's results. Melbourne Uni got over Heidelberg 9-4 in a pretty convincing win. EFA shocked Ashburton, winning 5-2. Pascoe Vale just scraped over the line over Fitzroy 2-1, and Richmond beat the Vic Vipers 3-1. To kick off round 16, Pascoe Vale took on the EFA Eagles. Eagles struggling down at the bottom of the table in 6th place, I believe, and Illy Jacob looked to make it even worse for the Eagles early on as she had a shot saved. Some good play between Naomi Mackey and Ange Durston-Ryan opened the scoring for Pascoe Vale. She's really fitted into their squad well since joining in the middle of last season. And Pascoe Vale looked like they were going to inflict more damage on the Eagles as Illy Jacob played in Sarah Richardson and she had a shot blocked. Pascoe Vale's set pieces are a big part of their game, and when Sarah Richardson was afforded too much time, she drilled in a long-range effort, and it was Pascoe who led 2-0. But the Eagles, who had been thumped by Pascoe Vale in recent times, would not lie down and be thumped again. Georgia Alberti beat Durston-Ryan and created a chance late in the first half, but Molly Borman was up to the task. Naomi Mackey was ignored and Illy Jacob had a good strike on goal, and although the Eagles were not conceding, they were still being outplayed. Mariana Anthony had a strike on goal saved by Borman. Sarah Richardson looked to inflict more pain on the Eagles as she skipped past their defence and drilled another one home as Pascoe Vale looked like they were taking home 3 points. They would not stop there though. Tilly Ford laid off Illy Jacob, whose brilliant dancing feet created another chance on goal. But late in the half, Tilly Ford created one last chance for Chloe Janowski, but Beth Mason-Jones was up to the task in Pascoe Vale's 3-0 win.
I'm here with Chloe Janowski of Pascoe Vale FC. Chloe, 3-0 win tonight against EFA. How did you see the game?
I think it was a pretty good game. I mean, we played pretty well, but their team killed it tonight. Like, I was really impressed with how they played. It's definitely a tougher game than I expected.
Next clash on the card was the blockbuster of the night. FC Richmond sitting in second place, taking on the league leaders Melbourne Uni as they would look to derail their title challenge. Priscilla Ribas and Marcela Marquez linked up early, but Sarah Clapham, who would need to be on her game today, pulled off an early save. Penny Barkopoulos was afforded too much room, and with no Francis Land and a player in goal, Richmond were reaping the rewards, going ahead 1-0. But dancing feet from Marcela Marquez as she proved too hot to handle early on. She could not find the back of the net though, but her fellow teammate Nikki Cook, who has really stepped up since the start of this season, levelled the score. Penny Barkopoulos dribbled through the middle of the Melbourne Uni defence and laid off Alki Stefanidis, who played it back inside for Barkopoulos as she got her second and put Richmond in front for a second time on the night. Marquez, who was looking desperate for a goal, could not find one. Clapham looking inspired with a brilliant save there. Aziza Renly played a great through ball to MJ Rajic and she narrowly missed as this game was really open and end to end. Aziza Renly played in the first game of Tyler Vlajnic and she made no mistake as Richmond took a 3-1 lead. Melbourne Uni looking shell-shocked. Nikki Cook then played one right through the middle of the court. Alexia Campbell was denied again by Clapham. Melbourne Uni had an abundance of chances, they were not putting them away. Campbell denied once again by Clapham. Melbourne Uni had to put away their chances in the second half if there were going to be any chance, and Priscilla Ribas finished off a good layoff from Letizia Samet, and Melbourne Uni were back in the game. Melbourne were putting a lot of pressure on Richmond, and Ribas almost had the equaliser. Aziza Renly was sent off late on, but made no difference to the result. Richmond taking home 3 points.
I'm here with Alki Stefanidis. Alki, after a couple of disappointing games, you recruited hard, didn't you?
We did. A few of the girls could turn up today because of the Premier League. That's obviously over for some of them. And yeah, it was good to have our original squad back, so we did really well.
Next clash on the card saw Ashburton FC take on the Vic Vipers. Both sides have had indifferent seasons, languishing down the bottom of the table. Leah Barrett has been a shining light this season though for Ashburton, sitting in the top 5 goal scorers. This time though she turned provider to Emma Hubbard, who is having a good impact on the team since joining mid-season. Captain Danica Petrescu dribbled through the Vipers' defence all too easily before toe-poking past Candace Salama, and Ashburton led 2-0 in the blink of an eye. Tara De Mello lost out again, and Petrescu almost made it 3-0 as Ashburton were completely on top of the Vipers. Kat Smith looked to rejuvenate her side, but she lost the ball too easily to Emma Hubbard as she hit the post, and Ashburton were absolutely demolishing the Vic Vipers at this stage. A long-range effort from Kat Smith was saved by Mel Lum, and the Ashburton went into the second half leading 2-0. A mistake there from Ashburton allowed Kat Smith another long-range strike, but that's all they were being afforded at this stage. Hubbard was the main goal threat as she hit the other post, and then Sinem Chelabi put the ball behind. Ashburton were completely in control, and Candace Salama the only one keeping the Vipers in the game, but she was beaten eventually by Hubbard on her third attempt, and Hubbard got her second of the game, a 3-0 lead to Ashburton. Jasmina Petić then played in Kat Smith against the run of play, pulling a goal back, and it was 3-1 then to Ashburton. Petić then picked out Bianca Livornia, and the Vipers were back in the game. Just like that, the inexperienced Ashburton side really struggling to keep them out as momentum was turning. Tara De Mello almost levelled the score as it was saved at the near post, but then a back post ball found Jasmina Petić and she rifled it past Mel Lum. Scores were level with 3 minutes to go. Livornia then played in De Mello, who played in Livornia again on the overlap. She got lucky and Petić let it go into the net. Ashburton blowing a 3-0 lead, and it could have been a lot more. The Vipers then made it 5 when De Mello got a goal of her own, and it was a big 3 points lost for Ashburton.
In fairness to the team, you're missing a couple of your superstars in Jasmina Petić and Kate Smith, which they came tonight, so it makes a big difference having your full squad.
Yeah, it really does. The strength of our squad doesn't just bring, quality star players. It brings the players out of us all. So yeah, once again, it's good to work with the team that we've got. Quality players, good girls, great girls. We work with one another. And again, hunger. Hunger gets you in the end.
Cleared by Sharman Rajab. Really well done by Zurich. Lovely goal, not a yell. Absolute quality. Andrea Farina gives them a high five, says, that's a nice goal. Gets the Vipers on the board within a minute. Quick fire stuff. That's what the Vipers were lacking. Biter off his line, shutting that down. Nahani finishes it off. Classy finish.
Hi, I'm Anna, and you're watching the Football Town Show. Go Futsal!
Final clash of round 16 saw Fitzroy FC take on bottom of the table Heidelberg, and the game opened up with star striker Danny Gedelge converting a penalty. Heidelberg were behind the 8 ball from the start. Gedelge then picked out an unmarked Natasha Rooney and she made it 2-0. Fitzroy looked like they were going to have a night out. Gedelge was on absolute fire as she drifted past the Heidelberg defence and made it 3-0. Fitzroy absolutely blowing Heidelberg out of the water in the opening minutes. Gedelge was only shining light for Fitzroy as she had a shot saved and Natasha Rooney tapped home from close range. With Fitzroy leading 4-0, the half was closing out. Gedelge created another chance there for Elena Vadke, but it was a good save from the Heidelberg shot stopper, Kelly Bitzes. The second half didn't open up in any better fashion. Elise Kyrgios turning in Natasha Rooney's squared ball, and it was 5-0. Fitzroy blowing them away from time and time again. Elena Vadke picked out Natasha Rooney unmarked at the back post. Heidelberg really not marking up at all, and they were paying the price. Gedelge then failed to mark Michelle Verzi at the other end, and she finally got one past Emma Southwell, add some respectability to the scoreboard. A free kick from Verzi then beat them through the wall, and she had her second. 5 players on the goal line, and it somehow got through. They failed to mark up Verzi again, and she struck, but this time Southwell was onto her, and she made a good save. Vadke's through ball, which was looking for Natasha Rooney, somehow found Brianna Panella, and she turned it in at the back post for the second own goal of the day. Ellie Toure then was left with too much time and space as she finished past Southwell, and the game really was opening up with goals leaking out of everywhere. With only seconds remaining, a long throw from Southwell, and Gedelge completed her hat-trick in the Fitzroy's big win.
Obviously the team played last season. How would you compare last season to this season?
It's a lot different. The competition's a lot different because everyone's finished outdoor and they're all playing futsal, so it makes us stronger, but it also makes other teams stronger, which, yeah, it's a challenge.
Well, that's it, ladies and gentlemen, from round 16. Let's recap the results. Pascoe Vale had a convincing win over FA Eagles 3-0. Richmond scraped home over Melbourne Uni 3-2. The Vipers had a stunning come-from-behind win, winning 5-3. And Fitzroy demolished Heidelberg 8-3 in the last game of the night. Taking a look at the ladder, Melbourne Uni still lead the way on 37. Richmond in second on 31, although they have 2 catch-up games in hand. Fitzroy in third on 29, Pascoe Vale in fourth on 27, also with a couple of catch-up games. The Vic Vipers in fifth on 17, Ashburton in sixth on 11, EFA Eagles in seventh on 9, and Heidelberg in bottom place with just 3 points. Now the top goal scorers chart, Marcela Marquez still leads the way, and someone will do really well to catch her. She has 33, Letizia Samet has 15, Nikki Cook has 14, Illy Jacob has 13, and rounding out the top 5, Leah Barrett with 12. Next week's fixtures, Melbourne Uni will take on Pascoe Vale FC in the first clash of the night. Richmond will then take on Ashburton, which should be a tight one. The Vic Vipers will take on Heidelberg in the bottom of the table classic, and to round out the night, Fitzroy will take on EFA Eagles. Stay tuned for the men's side of things now, ladies and gentlemen, with Matt Montgomery.
Taking a look at all the round 15 results, the Vipers embarrassed Albert Park by 24 goals to nil. Mickleham just couldn't get over Fitzroy. Metropolitan were too good for Hume, and Pascoe Vale and Ashburton would be played on a later date. The first game to kick off round 16 saw Metropolitan look to keep their position in the top 4 and play for an FAFL spot, go up against Mickleham, who were looking to stave off relegation. And it didn't go according to plan to start with for Mickleham, as Dino Radzepovic got the first goal of the game. Minutes later, it was brother Alia Radzepovic who set up Dino, who just had to walk the ball into the empty net, and it was soon 2-0. Metro kept applying scoreboard pressure, this time a cheeky backheel from Alia Radzepovic. That was until Vlado Zoric got Mickleham's first to relieve the pressure in his first game since coming back from injury. Metropolitan just kept keeping on. This time it was Gustavo Candello who scored a timely goal. It was his first of the season and put Metropolitan back into a 3-goal lead. Steve Carstvan, the keeper for Mickleham, made a dashing run from his own goal and linked up with Zoric for a 1-2 from Mickleham's second. But there was more joy to come from Metropolitan. This time Dino set up Alia Radzepovic, and Metropolitan had a 5-2 lead at the break. Facing a 3-goal deficit in the second half, Mickleham had to act fast. Vlado Zoric was the man to make the comeback if it was to happen. He got his second of the game. Rocky Campbell faked a strike and then set up Zoric. He soon got his hat-trick, and Metropolitan were back in the game with plenty of time remaining. Looking to reclaim their multiple goal lead, Dino Radzepovic teed up Alia, and the score went back to a 2-goal margin at 6-4. But Mickleham weren't done with yet. Iggy Filipovic held off a challenge by Alia Karic, and he thumped in the corner past Jana Kaczewski, and then it was a delightful chip from Dava Kosturic, in which the defender put his hand up for one of the goals of the week, and Mickleham was soon surprisingly on level terms. But there was more joy to come from Mickleham as Vlado Zoric claimed man of the match honours with a 4-goal performance, and there were only minutes to go with Mickleham still leading. It was a lucky deflection from Alia Radzepovic that capped off the 7-7 result.
3-0 down early on. To the boys' credit, they never gave in, and with your experience back, you've got a point that you really needed today.
Yeah, well, 3-0 down. Now we're at 3-0 down, we're happy with a point. But when you're 7-6 up and you got a minute to go, you
should kill the game.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we copped an unfortunate goal. At the end, we had a chance, 10 seconds to go. I mean, that's football. Everybody's tired. We didn't have no subs. They had only one sub. And I haven't been, as you know, for a couple of months now. First game in 2 months or so. And I was really feeling it.
Absolute stunner down the line. Hurling effort there from his arm. Kept out by Quaffo. That's a brilliant goal. What an introduction. He's only on the pitch for about 10 seconds. And he flicked it through the legs of John Italia. Ben Monteleone dinks it over Jimmy Brennan, and it's 3-0.
Ruby. You're watching the Football Town Show. Go Futsal!
The second game on the card saw newfound rivals Vic Vipers take on Fitzroy FC. All eyes were on Fitzroy's leading player, Fernando De Moraes, who was a former Viper in recent years, but has now crossed over. But there was no Fernando in sight as Mark Burden gifted his side the lead 1-0 over the current league leaders. In recent outings, Fitzroy boys fell just short against the Vipers, but there was a special feeling about the young squad this time around, Ben Monsioni putting Fitzroy 2-0 up at the break. After some indifferent performances against his old side, De Moraes really showed his teammates that he was there for them, and he scored to put his side 3-0 up. And it seems Milton Sakos' side had no answers for the young Fitzroy. Angelo Fusca scoring from the absolute tightest of angles past Christos Apostolakis, and Fitzroy was soon in dreamland. A poor pass from Ben Monsioni was intercepted by Miguel Barrigos, which found Adam Cooper, and he rounded keeper Anthony Cipollone with ease to register the Vipers first. But the Futsalroos representatives' efforts was to come to nothing as Burden found himself in a one-on-one situation with Christos Apostolakis, and he betted the Vipers shot stopper, making it 5-1. There was more heartache to come for the Vipers as poor communication between Apostolakis and Johnny Barrientos allowed Joel Silveria to score from close range. With a 4-goal lead, Fitzroy seemed to let their guard down defensively from a corner, and Jason Barrientos was the beneficiary with a toe poker past Cipollone. The Vipers, desperate to get back into the game, played the fifth man role, and they got a goal back straight away as Barrientos set up Cooper, but it didn't last long as Ben Monsioni and Alistair Dunlop linked up for Fitzroy's 7th. All the party tricks were being brought out by Fitzroy as they looked to close out the game, and they scored 2 late goals. Alistair Dunlop and Joel Silveria scoring into open nets as Vipers tried to reduce the deficit by playing the fifth man, and the final goal was scored by Maxi Avram to cap off the 9-4 result. Fitzroy's title hopes are still alive.
Also, I'll start by saying we wish you all of Futsalroos a happy birthday. It was a few days ago. So happy birthday, 34, and the older you get, the better you're getting.
I just want to make a little bit of thing there. It's not 34, it's 24.
Okay.
So, yeah. But look, it was a very good game, you know. Vipers is a very strong team, on top of the league by 6 or 7 points. Been playing really well this season. Credit to all the boys. They've been training, they've been working hard. But as what we said, we came today, you know what I mean, to make sure that we win the game and we go on top of Metropolitan, and we did that. You know what I mean? We played a very strong game since the first minute, and our boys just stepped it up.
The next game on the round 16 card saw Pascoe Vale and Hume FC take to the pitch as Pascoe Vale looked to capitalise on Vic Vipers' earlier loss to Fitzroy. But the current league champions were shocked by a Matty Vedrovsky strike, finally getting on the score sheet after a few lean weeks. At Pascoe Vale's end, Johnny Tabakowicz should have made it 1-1, but was denied by the outside of the post. And then a poor pass from the Pascoe Vale defence allowed Anthony Ramsey in a one-on-one situation with keeper from New South Wales, Robbie Majorana. Sofian Sufi at the start of the second half levelled the scores at 1 goal apiece and relieved the pressure for his star-studded side yet again. But their draw was short-lived as Shayan Rashidi got the better of Breno Pilati and blasted into the bottom right corner past Majorana. Hume was soon in dreamland in a 2-1 lead. Andre Kara, with plenty of time and space to shoot, was denied by the post. Neshdet Sahin also hit the inside of the post, meaning that there was more metalwork hit than actually goals scored. With 1 minute left on the clock and Hume looked like they were going to get the win, Breno Pilati bobbed up for Pascoe Vale to score the equaliser in a 2-2 result.
I'm here with the star defender from Hume FC, Reza Kulakoglu. The game plan almost paid off. 1 minute ago, you just couldn't hold them out. It would have been a very important 3 points that the club deserved, but to get a point out of it, how do you feel after that?
Mixture. Feelings are mixture. Draw with Pascoe Vale is always good, but we had him. We had him in the back rope. They got sent off, and just one bit of lack of concentration cost us, and I guess we've got to be satisfied with a draw.
The final game for round 16 in the men's side saw Ashburton take on the lowly Albert Park, who were holding up the rest of the ladder on the bottom of the table. Looking to improve on last week's 24-0 drubbing against the Vipers, it didn't go the way Albert Park would have hoped. Ricky Castro putting his side 1-0 in front, and soon 2-0 from a free kick. and Ricky Castro was having a good day out early on. The Ashburton striker is one of the better targets in the game, and he was proving very hard to deal with as he turned Pascalidis with ease and had his hat-trick with more than half of the first period remaining. Next on the score sheet was captain Mickey Jota, who spends a lot of his time in defence, but against Albert Park was able to stream forward and get on the score sheet. Castro was setting the game on fire with a back heel, his fourth of the game, and then Jota streamed forward, set up Mo Mata, who shot from distance and got the better of the Albert Park keeper, who was having a torrid time of it. With a multiple goal lead, Ashburton were well in control and could do as they pleased, Stephen Gustus losing his defender from a corner and making it 9-0 at half-time. With 6 goals in the first half, Ricky Castro was out to break the goal-scoring record, and he got one closer at the start of the second half, latching onto a David Tadaro throw and chipping the keeper. With nothing else to play for, Albert Park had nothing to lose, and they finally got on the score sheet midway through the first half. It was Andy Cow who found enough space close to the goal, but no one could stop Ricky Castro as he moved into double-figure scores. Although small in stature, Joaquin Jimenez's confidence was so high he defeated taller defender Ali Abdul and hit it straight past the unopposed Albert Park keeper. Then in the next run of play, it was Castro who created V-League history as he scored the most goals by one play in a game with 14. But to cap off the 19-2 result, it was George Pascalidis who got a consolation for Albert Park.
I'm here with one of the stars from Ashburton, the magician, Ricardo Castro. First of all, I don't know if you knew, you've created history here, Futsalroos. 14 goals in a game. You previously beat the record 13. How does it feel to kick so many goals in a game?
It's refreshing. It feels great, and I can't take credit for it all because my teammates helped me. So that just complements what Ashburton is. It's not one player; it's a team. So no superstars in our team. We all work hard. We all work back, and thankfully it all came out for us today. So yeah.
Well, there you have it. Although it was an embarrassing result for Albert Park, we did see a bit of V-League history there, as we mentioned before, Ricky Castro with 14 goals in a game. Looking at the round 16 results, Metropolitan Micklem played out a thrilling 7-7 draw. Fitzroy too good for the Vipers, and Pascoe and Hume also shared the spoils at 2-2, and as we know, Ashburton embarrassed Albert Park for the second week in a row. Taking a look at the round 16 ladder, the Vipers still maintain a 5-point advantage over Fitzroy, who are in second. Pascoe and Metropolitan round out the top 4, while Ashburton and Hume continue to fight out for the 5th and 6th positions. Micklem and Albert Park occupy the relegation zones, as has been since the first round of the season. After scoring 14 goals, as we mentioned, against Albert Park earlier on, Castro shoots to the top of the goal scorers charts on 32 over Yuso Uladzilla, who's still on 30, Ernie Simsek on 25, Jason Barrientos is on 22, and Pascoe Vale's goal scoring sensation Sofian Sufi is on 20. Taking a look at the clashes for next week, Ashburton and Hume continue to fight it out for that 5th position. Pascoe and Micklem go head to head. Metropolitan and the Vipers will be a thriller, and Fitzroy, well, what can they do to Albert Park? Will it be yet another 20-goal drubbing? We'll have to wait and see. Thanks for joining us as always, ladies and gents. Let's go to Goal of the Week.